Hey guys, how are you? Welcome back, guys. Um, guys, I just talked to Janetta, one of our bougie gang sisses, and she is gonna join us in a little bit for a little bit of questions because we just finished up a very long live, and then I had to get on mom duty and go pick up my kid. And she was nice enough. She checked in right at the very end. There's an echo. Let me see. Hold on. Okay, I'm trying to see. You say there's an echo? Old Man Johnson's farm, come out and then come back in. I don't think there's an echo, sis. Let me see. Every time I click on it. Okay, it sounds fine to me, but if you're experiencing something, yeah, go out and come back in. Anyway, so Janetta is our bougie gang friend from the chat who is a lawyer in Alabama, and she's gonna come. I wanted to hear her perspective because she's been calling in a bit and she's so much fun. And I think it would be fun to hear from her and ask some questions. So hopefully she's going to call in soon. I just talked to her on Instagram. Okay, let me just tell her we are ready. Okay. Okay, guys, let me answer some of your questions because I was just reading some of the comments real quick. Um, Let me share my screen. Um, okay, one second. Okay, guys, while we're waiting for Janetta to tap in, let me find what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the comments from the last live. We literally were just live, not well, I guess it's been 2 hours now, if you can believe it. Time goes so fast. Okay. The lawyer doesn't want her. Okay. So the last call, I don't want to say it was confusing because it wasn't confusing, but it was really kind of odd to me. It was a very odd phone call. Let me just check and see, make sure our lady is okay. Let me check. Let me call her back real quick and make sure she knows what to do. Hold on a second. Okay, if Janetta comes in, just let me know. I sent it to her on Instagram, but girl, I'm gonna make sure everything is okay. Anyway, you guys, okay, so we just did the last live. We went through the most recent call. We're not gonna go through a call again right now because I don't even know why it took us so long to go through that one. But you know, we get real specific over here, and it was a lot. So the lawyer don't want her, and she was embellishing the story, just a dummy. Look, I don't know what Sonia was doing, but I do think something was up with her and Craig Lewis. It's very odd. I think it's beyond her just wanting to make Nesto jealous. I think there's something weird there. Do you guys remember it was right after New Year's and there was a phone call, and it was a long time ago, and she had just come back to Florida, and he was like, "You okay? You drained? Did you see the lawyer?" We were all like, "Who is she talking? Who's he talking about?" We weren't sure if she was talking about Bimal Chopra or what was going on. Do you remember that? Do you think she would have actually gone out on a date with Crail Lewis? And if Crail Lewis was a friend of hers or Crail Lewis is someone that she knew, why was his lawyering double the damn price? Oh, she said she okay, hold on. Okay. Um Okay, I'm just going to drop the link in the chat. Okay, we're not going to take callers yet, guys. Let me get through Janetta and then I'll let you guys know when you guys can call in. So if you guys want to call in for a bit, we can definitely do that, okay? I'm going to drop it in the chat. Okay. I don't know. I just because she told how to scam easy money from Shirley. I don't know what you mean by that. I'm just saying because she was fleecing because she was using Crail to fleece Shirley, right? She couldn't fleece Shirley direct. She had to use somebody, right? They were trying to drain Shirley. I get it. I think we all get that. Yes, that was it. I'm just trying to figure out what because I don't think Crail was down with that because unless she's making this whole thing up about Crail and she's scamming Nesto at the same time. Are they trying? Was she trying to drain Shirley using Crail or with Crail? You know what I'm saying? That's what it's sounding like to me because Nesto doesn't sound like he knows what she's talking about. He's getting mad at Crail. If Crail was part of the scam, why was he getting mad rather than laughing? Because if Crail was supposed to get caught up, then that would just be part of the plan. Do you see what I'm saying? So you're saying Crail could have been part of Sonya's scam. I don't know, girl. It's a lot. And maybe that's not even anything to worry about at this moment. But for two people trying to scam the lawyer, it didn't make sense. Okay. All right, Janetta. Janetta, I don't know if you're here. If Janetta's here, I'm dropping the link for you. Janetta's going to answer some questions for us, guys. Some legal questions. I'm so happy for Shirley's out of this mess. Nesto can't even make a deal because he can't even he can't even get the correct words out. He's just as delusional as Sonya. Let me raise that up a little bit. He's just as delusional as Sonya. Let me move me out the way. He's just as delusional as Sonya. He really thinks she knows what she's talking about. I don't know who's more annoying, Sonya or Nesto. Hey, Janetta.
Hi.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing well. I just had a little issues. I couldn't sign in. My password I forgot. But I'm here.
Oh, don't worry about it. I'm glad I reached. I said, let me call and check in with you and see what was going on. Okay. So Bougie Gang, we got Janetta on the phone. Janetta is from our chat. And you may know her. She's called in before, and she is our friend who is in Alabama, who is a lawyer. Janetta, there's some feedback. Do you have the app open with this live?
Um.
If you still have YouTube open or you have like Chrome open and it's running this live, close it out. Okay. Okay, she'll be back. Okay. So we'll wait for Janetta to come back. Okay. She may have had YouTube open on another thing. Okay. So who's more delusional, Sonya or Nesto? God. That's a good question. He really thinks she knows what he really thinks she knows what she's talking about. I don't know who's more annoying, Sonya or Nesto. Sonya. I can answer that one. I died laughing. Friends impersonation is flawless. What was she talking about? What impersonation was that? Wait, hold on. Keep it cute and short.
And if he don't got something, that's what I do. That's what I am here for. I'm here to make sure he got everything. Girl, shut up.
Okay. Okay, very cute. Okay. Sounds like Sonia and the attorney had a personal thing. Listen to what she says closely. I think so. I agree. I think there's something going on. Okay, Janetta, do you have YouTube open?
I just clicked on the link, so I think I'm still in YouTube, but I clicked on the link for StreamYard, and I think
And it took you to Chrome. So do you know how to you know how to multitask to get back to your YouTube? I don't know what to tell you to do, but you gotta multitask so you can close your YouTube app because it's giving feedback.
uh
Are you on an iPhone?
I am.
Okay, so at the bottom, just swipe up, not swipe up, but swipe so you can see all your apps that are open and
Uh,
close YouTube. Swipe it up and close YouTube. Okay, did you do it? I feel like it sounds better.
I guess so. I'm not sure. Is it better?
Uh, okay, let me see if it's still giving the feedback. I think we might be in the clear. Okay, I think we might be good. Okay, I was well,
I
no.
learned
Okay,
something
it's
new. I'm
fine.
old. I don't know
You're
if I
old.
can
No,
technology.
okay.
I'm old.
All right, let me send it to you on Instagram because it's really bad. The audience isn't going to be able to hear us. When I talk, it starts to scramble.
Oh no. Okay.
Yeah. You got to close your YouTube app. So
Oh, I
close out.
did. I swiped up.
Okay, are you on a headset? Are you on a headset? Okay, Janetta. Okay, we're gonna drop Janetta down for a minute. Janetta, if you're on a headset, just reset your headset. Janetta, you back?
I'm here.
You said she's gone. She's not gone. Hey, Janetta, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, I'm just gonna put myself on. I'm gonna put you on mute when I'm talking and vice versa. That's the last time we had to do. So let me just get the questions out real short and easy. If you guys have any questions for Janetta, Janetta's one of our YouTube Streets lawyers. She's from Alabama. Wait, I'm gonna put you on mute. Um, and if you have some questions about what's going on, yeah, I'm gonna ask her to disconnect. Just Janetta, if you can hear. So they're saying disconnect the Bluetooth. Do you have us on Bluetooth? Do you have us on Bluetooth, Janetta? This might not work. This might be on some addressing the comments.
Okay. Okay,
Janetta?
how about that?
We'll make it work. I don't want to waste too much time because we're already 15 minutes in. So I had some questions. What do you think about listening to this last episode we just got through? I think I put it in the description box. It's attorney questions Nesto and Sonia. That was what was on phone calls from prison. If you guys watched my live today, the original episode is linked in the description box. It's attorney questions Nesto and Sonia about their relationship. What do you tell us about have you ever had a situation like this where you had a client who was having an affair with someone? Has that ever happened to you?
That has never happened to me. This is weird. As we spoke earlier, I told you that criminal lawyers are used to talking to family members because it could be quite expensive to pay for attorney's fees, and everyone, if it's $20,000, everyone to put their money together, and so you may have a sister, brother, and all of them are communicating with the lawyer. But as far as a girlfriend goes, I've never seen anything like this, and I would be surprised if Krell is in Atlanta, so maybe he saw it, but yeah, I would think people would have better judgment than that.
So when
So
you say better judgment, you're saying as far as putting putting a side piece in front of your legal counsel. Is that what you're talking about?
Exactly. Because the thing is, he may slip up because you have all, the family members you talking to calling the sister or whatever, and he may slip up to Shirley and say, "Well, Sonya called," and she's like, "Who's Sonya?" And Shirley's the one that's paying the money, really. So in this case, I really don't understand why he was talking to Sonya since there's only one person that was paying money. I don't know. I wouldn't have been talking to her, but there are cases when lawyers talk to multiple people. It's not unheard of to talk to family members. And I don't think that when she was initially came in the picture contacting him, I don't think he had any idea who she was. So
Mm,
to me, at this point, I feel like he's starting to suspect, wait a minute, this is maybe his side chick or something. I don't want to be involved in this. So let me find out what's going on. I think is what was going on. I don't
mm.
think that he was trying to hit on her. I went back and listened to it again. I think he's trying to figure out what's going on here. And I don't, she didn't, Nesto don't convey information in a way that made sense. I was confused. And if Sonya was saying, if she was this and I'm the go-to, and are you talking about someone else? Or are you talking about yourself? It was
She
kind of,
started talking in the third person, right? She said, "Well, well, okay." She said, like, if I have a question and I can't talk to so and so, well, then you're going to talk to her. So she was almost talking like she was speaking for him it was like she was speaking for him in the third person. It was so strange. Okay, so we have a question. First of all, we have two questions. Let me say this. I don't know if this one. Okay. Sis, you just dropped it into the thing. Let me see. Okay, good. I'm glad you did that. Can the state make Shirley testify? I just dropped a Q&A box. If you guys are not clear on how to use the Q&A box, you just wait, hold on. If you guys are not clear on how to use the Q&A box, I think you just literally click on it and drop your question. We're going to try to get through as many questions as we can, but if you could use the Q&A box, that way I know which questions to click on because it can get, we already have over 500 and I don't want to miss any, which I'm sure I might anyway, but I'm going to do my best. All right, Janetta, I'm going to take you off mute in just 1 second. Can the state make Shirley testify? I'm going to say, as the layperson, they can't make her testify. What do you say, Janetta? Can the state make Shirley testify?
it depends on there's some questions surrounding spousal privilege. I suppose the state, I would make an argument if I were in the DA's office that they're not legally married, and I would use that to attack spousal privilege. But spousal privilege varies depending on the state. So some states, the privilege rests with the defendant. So it wouldn't be Nesto's choice. I mean, it would be his choice as a defendant that, oh, I don't want my wife to testify. Even if the wife wanted to testify, he could invoke his spousal privilege and say, well, I don't want her to testify, and then she can't testify. Or on the other hand, it can be kind of like a mixed bag where the wife can invoke the spousal privilege and say, I don't want to testify, or the wife can choose that, okay, I want to go ahead and testify. So it depends on their spousal, but my guess is that Shirley probably doesn't want to have anything to do with this. So if she invokes spousal privilege, they could counter and say, well, you're not legally married. He's really married to Martha, Susie, whoever else, and not married to you. So I think they would challenge it.
If you look at, sorry for the pause, guys, but I have to remember to take it off pause because for some reason there's a conflict with our mics. Anyway, we don't know if they're married or not. Like they're saying they're married, they're saying they're not married. Nesto says he's married, Nesto says he's not married. Nesto has multiple wives. We do know from what we've heard, he hasn't had enough divorces to match up with the marriages. He should have had at least 4 divorces if he's had 5 wives, right? So it sounds like he's had 3 divorces. So either way, there's something going on there, but I don't think they can make her testify either way. Even as a spouse, she's not required to testify, but you can still testify. So, is that right, Janetta? Go ahead.
Well, it'll be a challenge back and forth. The judge will rule on it, so the DA can make the argument that, oh well, she's not really his wife, and then the judge will rule on that. So, not saying the DA themselves can make her do it, but a judge could.
Right, but she doesn't have to. She
If
does.
she could have to, the judge
She
rules
could.
that, yeah.
She
If a
could
judge
have to.
on it, yeah, a judge will rule on it. If a judge says that she would have to, she would have to. It is a decision made by a judge.
Right, but it's not one of those like it's a foregone conclusion that she's going to have to jump on the stand. It would be something. There would be. I don't know. I think Shirley seems like the type, if she has to go get on the stand, she's going to go get on the stand. If she doesn't have to get on the stand, she doesn't want to be bothered. But like to your point, Janetta, they're going to have to do their due diligence to validate this marriage, right?
Well, they would. I don't think they can validate the marriage from what we've saw. But there's going to be I'm gonna say there's going to be. I can't guarantee what the DA would do, but I think that if they really think she has some valuable information, I could see them challenging this spousal privilege. And privilege is something that the judge rules on anyway. I have attorney-client privilege with my client, but the DA could decide, well, there was a third party involved in the conversation. It's not, the privilege has been broken, and they could put me on a stand, and I could fight it, but a judge will ultimately rule on it and say, well, you have to testify against your client. So those types of situations happen all the time, and the same thing will work with the spousal privilege. The judge will rule on it, and if the judge rules that she has to testify, then she will have to. It's not, the DA couldn't just make her testify. Now, if it's not a privilege involved, I can make you testify. I can serve you with a subpoena, and if you don't show up, then I can have you jailed or whatever. And attorneys have subpoena power, even though I don't work for the DA's office. If I'm trying a case and I'm representing the defendant, like Creel could subpoena people, and they'll be compelled to testify, and they couldn't get out of it. But when it comes to extra layer of protection, like a spousal privilege, a judge will most likely rule on it if it's some kind of debate back and forth. So if a judge says that, it's just not a foregone conclusion, like you said, that she would just have to testify. But I think it would be some arguments made, and a judge will rule on it.
So so let me ask this. I said they would have to validate the marriage. There's no way you're saying that even the court can't validate the marriage?
Well, if they're presenting evidence that he was married to, because I mean, I saw the documentation. Shirley's marriage to Nesto wouldn't be valid because you can't be married to two people. He didn't divorce. Was it Martha? No, Martha into 2021. So he married Shirley in 2015. So I don't know how they would validate the marriage if that's what.
Right, but they're not going to say on the YouTube streets on such and such date, Chronicle Speaks posted a video, and this is how we're not validating this marriage. You know what I mean? They're going to have to come better than that to say, because these two people are saying they're married. Nesto is not copping to not having married Shirley. So when we know the story, but the people in the court, the general public, don't know the story.
Yes,
You see what
those.
I mean?
Yes, the marriage certificates, and those would be
The
exhibits.
DA will have to, yeah, the DA will have to provide the receipts.
Yeah,
I'm sorry to put you on me. The DA will have to provide the receipts to get everybody up to speed, because everybody in the courtroom is not going to be from the YouTube streets like us.
exactly. They'll have to. Those would be entered as exhibits. They'll present to the judge, and the judge, those would be exhibits that the judge would use to make the decision. The exhibit A would be the divorce decree with Martha, and then exhibit. Well, I guess exhibit B would be the initial marriage license, which, from my understanding, they couldn't find one for Shirley and this. So if you have a certificate
They
of
could have
marriage,
got married in Vegas.
yeah, that's possible. But if they will have to say, if they're going to invoke the privilege, they would, spousal privilege. He would have to present, if it's being challenged, he would have to present something proving that they're married. and what year they were married. And then the DA would counter and say, well, he didn't divorce Martha until 2021. So it would definitely, if they're gonna fight it, it would be have to be some evidence and exhibits presented, and the judge would make a decision. The judge doesn't make a decision based off of words. That's for sure.
So let me ask this. Um, that all of this being said, now let's just talk about the marriage for a second. So let's just say they present five, let's say they present 4 or 5 marriage licenses, right? Is that going to lend any additional prejudice to Nesto as a fraudster with all of these marriages and coming in short on divorces and overlapping marriages? Do you think immediately that's going to be something to that's going to, I mean, it's just, again, he talks about character so much. What do you think about that?
Well, as far as the issue of the spousal privilege, that wouldn't
No,
be.
no, I mean just outside of that.
Oh, I was gonna, get
Character,
into.
just bigamy and all of those things.
Well,
The fraud, the
that
fraud
that is.
lifestyle.
Yes, that can be used to show fraud, but as far as like the exhibits that would be presented for the that wouldn't go before the jury. The jury wouldn't know anything about that. The judge will rule on that. Then the rest of the case will go to the jury, and the jury wouldn't know what happened with that arguments.
So those
So
will be pre-trial.
yes, well, or it can
Pre-trial.
happen
Okay.
in trial, and they just don't bring the jury in. But as far as the privileges go, the jury would not be privy to that. But as
Okay.
far as them adding it shows, it goes to character. It could prove his character, especially if Shirley didn't know that he was married to someone else. But you would need Shirley to get up there and testify. I didn't know he wasn't honest with me, and so it's something that can go to his character and his how he is dishonest with people. So, oh yeah, I would think they would definitely use that if it, especially the fraud goes to
I
trial.
would. I would almost think that would be a slam dunk to kind of to just start the show off with the marriage frauds.
Yeah, I think so. And and I think this case is going to get bigger because you remember the video you posted with Jonathan Salmon, and
Yeah, the first one.
he mentioned a RICO. RICO it'll be a nightmare for Nesto because it would allow them to bring up. I mean, they can expand the case. They can, I'll use the R. Kelly. I always use that one as an example. They went back 30 years with Aaliyah because of the RICO allowed them to do that. Because in a regular trial, you have evidence rules. You can only use a conviction from like 5 or 10 years old. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head, but I think it's max 10 years if there's a conviction. You can't introduce it if it's an old conviction, because they don't want people to bring up old stuff, anything that's too old. So, but RICO, it allows them, they can talk about things that happen in other jurisdiction or make charges in other jurisdiction. I mean, RICO is, yeah, it'll be a nightmare, just like it is for
Mm.
all the other RICO defendants.
Okay, let me ask you this question. There's a sis who, wait, let me put you on mute. Okay, so how do we know Sonia wasn't lying? So back to the call. I'm assuming you're talking about the call we just went through, sis. So let's get back to specifically the video that we were just watching this afternoon. How do we know Sonia wasn't lying? And not just about Crail questioning her, but this kind of fence riding sounding Crail Lewis that is maybe trying to get a little extra time with Sonia, because she did make it sound very strange. What were your thoughts on that?
I My honest opinion is I just think she's one of those type of people, and I think kind of Nesto was feeding into it a little bit as well. I'm gonna feed her ego, have her thinking I want her, all these other men want her, and she just needs to feel wanted and desired. And I think that kind of plays into that. With Crail, when we spoke earlier, my impression of Crail, he seems like one of those down home kind of country guys. I don't think he's from Atlanta. I think he's from one of those country small towns where everyone is friendly. And if you're like from a city where people aren't as, out, I don't want to say outgoing, but just as, overly friendly, that you could be taken aback by that. You may read too much into it. So if she wasn't lying, she probably read too much into, his demeanor. He's probably, because he was real. Because I think he really Shirley really liked him because he was so warm, and he just, I only heard him in court, but he was just so, he just seemed, he made some decent arguments, but then he made some Freudian slips as well. But he just seemed like that type. So I think that, I don't know if she was necessarily lying, but she may have read too much into him being friendly. And, he just may have this thing where he's really, friendly with his clients. And I guess I'm kind of like that in a way. My clients, I make sure they know that I'm going to take care of them. They know
Right.
I'm looking out for their best interest. So maybe that's his way of, keeping communication open and, trying to be nice. But then some kind of way, he's like, something's not right here. I'm not sure what it is. I think he's trying to figure out a way to figure out the nature of their relationship because he knows about Shirley. And he doesn't want to get caught up in any mess. So I kind of think that's what's going on.
Okay, so let me ask you this question. So one of our sisters, Tam, said, "Is Shirley out of the clear?" So I'm assuming she either means, I'm not sure what she means, either out, like out of trouble or in the clear. So I'm not sure. Either way, I don't. I'm gonna. And my answer for that would be, I don't know. I mean, I don't think the case has progressed enough. But what I'm also gonna say is, I don't think they're coming for Shirley. I don't think Shirley is engrossed in whatever the enterprise is enough. If they were looking for her, then they'd already be looking for her. Even if it's on like some, we're just gonna let this die down until we get him and then we'll go after everybody else. So that being said, I don't know, but I just think that she's being looked at as a victim in the at this moment. What do you think, Janetta?
I don't think they were. I don't think Shirley was a target based off what we heard in the phone calls. Detective Fields was basically trying to talk some sense into Shirley, and she was like, "Oh, they're setting up a black man." So I don't think she was a target. But as far as out of the clear, she just don't want to have anything to do with the case and want to disappear. I don't know about that. I think they may want some testimony from her. I mean, it just depends on if they could, if how much they need her, how much they think she knows. And it's kind of hard to say because she would say some weird things, or I just played dumb or whatever, which I'm thinking that she was talking about something else. And I don't think she knows what was going on, because even I find it interesting that even Dion, I think he knows his dad's character, but it don't seem like he was involved in what was going on, because he said they think Shirley's involved with the stuff. He said that in a call, he wasn't saying the police thought that. He was saying the viewers, the YouTube streets thought that she was a part of other social media streets thought she was a part of the FS stuff that was going on. So yeah, I don't think she's complete.
What's
I
the
don't know how to
FS?
do it. What he said, the FUCK, you know how Dion talks, the F shits basically. He said, you remember when Dion said that they think she's a part of the F shits.
Okay.
And so that was for social media though. But as far as the police or the DA, I don't think it's progressed enough either. It may be something that they need, her to testify to, because it's only, people have to testify based off of their knowledge, and they can't say, well, Shirley told me this, that's hearsay. So if I need something from Shirley, I will have to put Shirley on the stand, because I can't put Dion on the stand and say, well, what did Shirley say? That's hearsay, objection. And it wouldn't be admissible. So if it's something that only she could testify to and they need her, then I would.
Janetta, your phone's going out. Can you hear us?
I hear you.
Okay. Okay. Just repeat that last little part. I couldn't hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so if it's something that only Shirley can testify to, then she would have to be put on a stand, because they wouldn't be able to take testimony from someone else and ask them, what did Shirley say, or what did she think? That's hearsay. So it depends on if it's something that's valuable to their case that they really need and they can only get it from her, then she would be compelled to testify. Did you get that part? Hello?
I'm here. I have to take the phone off mute. So,
Oh, sorry.
well, not the phone off mute, but I have to click the mute button, and my thing was doing something. We got a lot of questions. Okay. You guys, welcome, welcome, welcome. If you're just coming in, we've got Janetta. Janetta is one of our bougie gang folk from the chat. Janetta stepped up and called in last week. She told us she was an attorney. She's in Alabama where she practices. So she, I don't know, did you check in? I don't know if she checked in today or not, but I was like, I don't know if Janetta's here. And then you showed up and it was very nice. So we appreciate you showing up to the chat and answering some questions for us. So she's watching right along with us. She's very interested. Janetta, real quick, just like two minutes. Tell us what got you interested in this. Obviously, the law, I'm assuming. I know it's juicy and all that, but what's got you like here in the chat? Now you're calling in, like you're super interested. So what's got you? What are you enjoying about this? And I'm not a lawyer. I'm just a lay person, mom, you know, blogger. Um, Tell me what's got you interested in this community. It seems like we all like different facets or facets of the law.
Well, I would listen to the Steve Harvey Morning Show, and I actually remember when it happened when Nesto came and proposed to her, and they were like, Shirley's got her man. And so for me, when I started hearing about the bond hearing and he was in jail last summer, I'm like, what in the world? This is Shirley's man. And so that's what really got me shocked. And so I just started, I guess, searching on YouTube to try to, because I just had to know more. And so then I came across your page and I came across Grown Woman Advisor, just whoever was talking about it. And I was just, I got to know more about this because it was crazy.
Good. I'm glad that you found us. So, okay, let's get through some more of these questions. So, guys, if you have questions, run them into the Q&A, and whatever we can't answer, I will screenshot it and I'll post it, and then maybe Janetta can come through and answer some questions, or we'll get to them tomorrow. We can finish up the questions, or maybe she can help us with some answers down into the chat or something. Can Sonia be in trouble? Let's see. Can Sonia be in trouble for witness tampering or interfering with the case? That seems to be a hot question people want to know. Like, is Sonia, I think Sonia is interfering, but I don't know that she's criminally interfering at this point since I don't know. We don't have an indictment yet. He's bound by the order for bond. And if she's reaching out to people that the judge has asked him not to reach out to directly or indirectly, I think that would be him violating his bond. Um, if she's doing stuff intentionally, of course she's going to get in trouble for it, especially if it's at his request. What do you say about that, Janetta?
I think that based on what we've heard on the phone calls when he was telling people call this person, they definitely can charge him with tampering with witnesses for sure. Sonya, she knows. So when the thing about crimes is you have to prove intent. So they will have to show that that's what her intention was. So she knows that he's not supposed to reach out to, and she mentioned that in the phone call. Oh, you can't call this person. So if that's all she did, or if she said that in the call and then she turned around, because she could have said that because she knew we were listening, but then she still reached out to a witness, or she got her favorite blogger to post information about the witness. If they have,
Ooh.
yeah, I think that's a problem. I do. So if they have, you know, they start. I think we'll have to have more information. But if they start get scared and start telling on each other, then oh no, and because I can totally see her and her favorite blogger turning on each other. Oh no, it was her. And so I think they probably would be able to prove intent, but it's kind of they definitely will have enough on Nesto. He violated it, but she did know because in one of the phone calls, Tanya said, "Well, no, I can't do that." But if she did it anyway, that I think that would be enough to show intent. But I just still.
Well, um, so he said call, and she said no, we shouldn't call. You're not supposed to do it. But he also asked Dion to call. He asked Dion, or he called someone else and was asking them to reach out to the little sister and tell them that they're about to ruin their life or something like that. Oh, he talked to Laverte, told Laverte to do it. I feel like he talked to Dion. So that is indirectly. I mean, that is their sibling. But they said directly or indirectly. So even if her brother is your son, you're still not to do it. He's not supposed to have any contact with the girl. So, and that's the one he's not to contact till she's 21 or something like that. So, I'm not sure. Okay, Janetta, another question. Was this an ethics violation? So, I'm not sure what they were referring to. I'm assuming they're referring to Crail Lewis, an ethics violation, but as far as what, I'm not sure. Was this an ethics violation? Do you think they're talking about Crail? I got You got to take your phone off, Mike. Yeah.
Okay.
Oops, my
Everyone,
bad.
I'm actually
Okay.
getting the feedback that you're getting now. I didn't know what you were talking about at first, but I'm actually
Ooh,
getting it.
it's
Okay.
yeah.
So as far as Krill goes, based off this phone call, this is not enough to say that it was an ethics violation. Now if he actually was dating her, or if Krill started fooling around with Shirley or something, because we actually had a district attorney here. He won the election and everything. He could not take his seat as district attorney because he was fooling around with the mother of a client, because he was a guardian ad litem in a divorce, and he got arrested and everything. So you definitely can't cross those lines, and it's a problem. But as far as this is based off this phone call, it's definitely not enough, because I'm really confused as to who they're talking about. She's going back talking first person, third person, and all this other weird stuff, and it's just not enough.
Yeah, I mean, the weird thing about her is that she does, I don't even want to give her any credit, so let me just be quiet. Do you think Shirley will one day tell her side? Oh God. You take that one first, Jeanette. I'm gonna go. You go first.
I've been thinking about that. I think that maybe she's afraid to right now, because Nesto, he keeps making these statements. I'm not gonna say anything bad about her, and he's saying that like that makes him a great guy, or maybe he's owed something for keeping his mouth shut and not saying anything bad about her. So I think she may be afraid if she tells her story that he'll tell her, he'll start talking, because he keeps talking about writing a book about his life and stuff like that. And he did make a statement, if I'm gonna start telling everything, maybe implying that he knew something about Steve, and that could really mess up her job. So I don't know, it'll probably be some years from now.
Uh, I don't think so. I'm gonna be honest. Shirley is a different generation from us, most of us, and the ones of us that she is in generation with. I just don't know. First of all, I think we underestimate Shirley's footprint out here. I mean, Shirley's popular, Shirley's known. I don't know that Shirley can sell a million books. I mean, she might be able to if her and Steve were coordinating a book sale at the same time. I think she's definitely very valuable. I think she makes a wonderful contribution. But book companies and publishers want to sell books for money. And surely, I don't, 50,000 books, I don't know is enough. I don't know that it's enough. I don't think that she has enough popularity to sell a million books. And I don't know that the book is going to be that fantastic. It's going to sell a million books. It could, um, and this is a very complicated, interesting story. It actually really is. I don't know if also all of what I just said on top of her generation, her privacy, and just the embarrassment. A lot of these days, a lot of people are growing up shameless, and because we have to be proud of everything we do. um she didn't grow up in that generation. I don't think that she's happy about this at all. You know what I mean? And I don't, not that there's anything to be happy about. I just don't think that this is something that she's going to try to make a coin off of. I think if anything, she's already made a coin off of it because she got a big raise off of it, and she might just be happy. She might be happy he's gone and may not want to drag this up as much as people think that that's the recipe for Hollywood to constantly drag stuff up all over again. So I don't know. Janetta, I'm pull the next question. Do you think Ernesto can get a fair trial in his city if he have to go before a jury? I'm going to take this one first real quick. I'm going to say yes. I don't know how many people are in Atlanta, but at the end of the day, trust me, everyone doesn't know about this case. They don't. So I'm sure they can find a jury to handle this business. What do you think, Janetta?
I believe they can find a jury. I don't think because the YouTube it's big on YouTube. It's not big. It's not in the local news there every day. It hasn't really blown up like that. They have bigger cases. I mean, they were able to see the jury for YSL. That's a bigger case, so he shouldn't have a problem. He's not that important.
So they're saying right now, 2022, the population of Atlanta was right under 500,000. And I guess that's the city of Atlanta, 499,127, if that's correct. And that might just be like actual, not all of the surroundings, but just Atlanta. I'm sure everyone, you know what I mean? Even though we have a big community here on YouTube, it's not like that. I think he'll be fine getting a jury of folk. Okay. How much do you think Nesto changing all these attorneys has hurt his case? On top of the fact that he's clearly not being truthful to them about what he has going on. I'm gonna say the case really hasn't even started yet, just to be honest. And he's got a couple of different types of cases. So I think like I don't think it's gonna hurt it at all. I don't think, first of all, I almost feel like I'm just gonna say kind of flippantly, I don't think anyone's checking for Nesto like that. Also, there's no jury, there's no nothing going on yet. I don't think that's hurt anything. I think Crail and Hannah were both in play at the same time. If Crail's backing out and he's indigent status now anyway, I think it makes sense. He's not run off Crail because he's been a difficult customer, which we know he has been, but it's more so he can't afford to pay. What do you think, Janetta?
Well, I think a lot of money was spent for the case, and it hasn't even started. I agree with what Pam said. She talked about this. She said that a lot of that money could have been used for experts, maybe someone to look into the computer forensics, something. It was a lot of money wasted for just some bond hearings. But if remember on the phone calls, all he kept talking about, I'm getting on this week, my bond, my bond, my bond, and he was just so focused on his bond, and he felt like the lawyer can get him his bond. I mean, it's people. I found out today, someone that I know has been sent into jail for a year, and it's only a $40,000 bond. So, I mean, people that do much less are sitting in jail for just as long too. And if they don't have the money before, for trial, in his case, there was no bond on some of them. They kept, they were very strategic, the DA, and the law. They're doing what the law allows them to do. So, and they were strategic. So I don't know what a lawyer could have did to kind of, to tackle that. I
But
don't.
so really, I mean, I guess um the fiduciary aspect of his case, money has been wasted, right? But they said, how much do you think changing all these attorneys has hurt his case? So I don't know that they were asking about the money aspect of it more than they were asking about from Bamal to Crail to Hannah. Is that a bad look?
Well, I did recall in one of the calls, Nesto was angry because the ADA mentioned he's not injured and he doesn't need a public defender. He has changed lawyers 3 times. But I don't think that it's hurt his case. It is a bad look, and it's a lot of money that was wasted that could have gone to actually do something in the case. But as far as the case itself, it definitely didn't hurt the case.
Yeah, because I don't think the case is really in earnest, like no pun intended, hasn't really started yet. So it's all still very much preliminary because honestly, even though this is not going to happen, because this would be a nightmare for lots of people, we could wake up tomorrow and he's out of jail and everything is dropped. Do you know what I mean? Like the case hasn't started yet. Once the case starts, once there's an indictment, then we're going to really know if he's screwed himself or not, because that's when the real work really needs to start, and the reality of the wasted funds is going to come into play. All right, next question. How much do you think Nesto changing all right, we already read that one. I'm sorry. All right, next one. Do you think Sonia will get called to testify, Janetta?
If she has some evidence that's relevant to the case, I think she will probably be able to testify as to if there's a tampering charge. Did he tell you to call X, Y, and Z, or did he tell you to send a picture over to someone? Which I don't think he did that, but if she has evidence that they can get from no one else,
That's it. It nothing happened with it. Yeah. You sent it, I deleted it. It never went anywhere else. And nobody even talked anything ill about it. We didn't, start going and describing it or anything. None of that.
I was on mute. Did you get that? Hello?
I'm sorry, Janetta. Is that what you were talking about?
That's it. It nothing happened with it. Yeah.
Because Sonya be called to testify if she has evidence. And I think just based off what I've heard, the only thing that she would be able to testify to is maybe the tampering with a witness charge. Did he, they could put her on the stand. Did he tell you to call X, Y, and Z? And did you call them? And what did you say? Things like that. She could testify to that. But, the charges, the underlying charges, that I don't think she will have evidence. I mean, any information that's relevant.
So another question: do we know the date he is going in front of the grand? Explain. So the grand jury. It's my understanding that grand juries are a body that's formed that hears multiple cases over a period of time, and they just make a decision whether whether to move forward and grant an indictment or not. Is that correct? Or can you tell us what a grand jury does? Because this person's asking, do we know what date he is going in front of the grand jury? So Nesto won't ever go in front of the grand jury. The grand jury will hear what the prosecutors have for a case, and they make a decision whether to push an indictment forward. Is that correct, Janetta?
That's correct. I actually, when I was a law student, I actually got a chance to observe a grand jury. So it was interesting. So basically, what I saw was that the DA, pretty much, just to be honest with you, they tell them pretty much who to indict. I hate to say it, but this particular, I'm not saying that they're going to do that in Fulton County, but
Your mic went out, hun. Janetta. Janetta, you might be in a bad area, sis.
the defense counsel,
Janetta? Janetta?
Yes.
We're having some interference, hun. Can you repeat that, please, babe?
Okay, yes. Okay, so the defense counsel will not be there. The defendant will definitely not be there. So it's just one side, which is the state, will present their case to the grand jury, and they'll bring detectives in. Perhaps Detective Fields would come in, and she would testify as to, similar to what she did in a preliminary hearing, and she'll testify as to what her evidence found. And then, the grand jury make a decision to indict. But usually, there's an old saying from the ham sandwich that's kind of true. And so what I saw when I observed a grand jury
Repeat the
was,
saying one more time. We couldn't hear you, hun.
the grand jury will indict a ham sandwich. That's an old
Oh,
saying
got
from,
it. Okay.
yeah, that's an old saying from hundreds of years ago. But from what I saw, I did see where the DA, they actually told the grand jury not to indict, that they didn't feel like the person had the intent to kill the person. It could go both ways. They could say, well, we feel that the person should be indicted, or I've heard them say that the person should be indicted. And I don't know what decision they made on a person, but I'm pretty sure if the DA said we don't think this person should be charged, then they probably went with what the DA said, because it's only one side there. I mean, they brought them Krispy Kreme donuts and had coffee for them, and they were friendly with them. I mean, they're kind of chummy, so they probably just they trust the people that's there in front of them.
Right. Okay, cuz it's law enforcement, right? Um so yeah, the grand jury really just it's almost kind of like if you had to defend your thesis or something in grad school, it's almost like you're going in front of, let's say at the end of the year you have your annual appraisal and you are delivering all of your projects for the year, your 360 evals from your colleagues and your 9 box, and you're presenting all of your all of your goals and everything for the year, and basically trying to justify, I wouldn't say necessarily a raise, maybe even just defending your job. That's almost what a grand jury does. They're just laying out all of the evidence, all of the facts, and if they're kind of like, okay, we're checking off that yes, you can go to trial, then there's an indictment. And then Janetta just said that sometimes she's even seen, Janetta, correct me if I'm wrong, you've seen where the prosecutor make a recommendation either to go forward or to not go forward with an indictment. Was that right?
Yes, I just saw one day a grand jury because it's very close off. They don't let many people go and observe, but I was a student, so they let me do it. And I did hear them in the case. They said we don't think this person should be charged. They explained the circumstances as to why. It was a very unfortunate situation, but based off what they said, the person didn't. It was more like a self-defense situation. They thought the person was mentally ill, and they were banging on their door, and they pulled out the gun. They thought they were going to harm them, and so based off of those facts, the DA did say, the ADA that presented the case did say we don't feel like this person should be charged. So they probably went with that.
So maybe they were using that. I'm just wondering why, if they didn't think so, why they brought it, but maybe they were just bringing it to kind of use the grand jury as, for just the community to say, and we ran it through a grand jury litmus test, and the grand jury agreed that we did not need to go ahead and prosecute at this time, just to provide some justice for, or some explanation to the family, because so it won't have to be all their decision. Yeah, I mean, we're going to see. I would not be surprised if he gets an indictment. I will be surprised if he doesn't get indicted. That's just my feeling. If he doesn't get indicted, I will be a little bit surprised. If he gets indicted, I won't be surprised at all. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, next question. Is Shirley due a refund since they said is Shirley due a refund since they said Crail did not work the cases? I'm going to say, as a layperson, he's going to need to provide the receipts, and she's going to need to ask for the receipts, the full accounting. I think Pam talked about that. Lots of people have talked about it. But if you give someone $20,000 and your account is at zero, you're going to want to see a receipt on how they got from 20,000 to zero. Janetta, can you explain that too, please?
How it's supposed to work is a retainer is if I receive a $20,000 retainer today and I haven't started any work, that's unearned money. So it goes into what was called a client trust account. It's for client funds. So if I had to do legal research, draft motions, and things of that nature, if my hourly rate is $1,000 per hour and I do $2,000 of work, then I can go in that account and I can withdraw $2,000 and put it into my operational account. So at least 18,000. So if I get fired the next week, I've earned $2,000 and I have to return the 18,000. Unfortunately, in real life, that doesn't happen. When a lot of those attorneys receive the money, they immediately put it in their operating account. Now that's not what's supposed to happen, and it's a violation of bar rules. But it's you kind of have to prove that. So people will doctor up their invoices and say, oh, I did this amount of work, because it's someone that I went to high school with said a lawyer did do that to him, fired, quit, and withdrew from the case the following week, and had taken $6,000, but she claimed she did all this research, she did all of this and that, and did not return any of the money. So I suppose it could be challenged, but they just docked her up and said, well, I did research, or I took a phone call and I did this and this and that. So they usually document it.
Okay. Yeah, so really and truly, yeah, so it's really like you said, an escrow account, and it's supposed to be on hold, basically. Guys, if you're just coming in, Janetta, she is an attorney. I'm gonna put a banner at the bottom. Janetta is an attorney. She is from the Bougie Gang chat, and she called up last week and maybe even the week before last and answered some questions for us. So sis came through today, and I asked her if she would come and answer some questions for us. Um, because it's always nice to have someone who works in the profession to answer some questions. So next question. Do we know the date he is in? Okay, do we know the date he's going in front of the grand jury? Can Shirley, oh, this is a good one. Can Shirley sue Sonia and Nesto for theft by deception to pay that attorney? I don't know that we have a crime there. I mean, sue Sonia and Nesto, sue them. So not criminal theft by deception. You're saying, can she sue Sonia? I don't think so. Sonia, and I mean, I don't know. You take this one, Janetta.
Well, theft by deception is a crime. People can get sued for just both. The easy example I could think of is OJ. He was acquitted of murder. Then they sued him civilly. So you can be sued. You know, just like Sonya's always
Can
saying,
she sue
civil.
Sonia though? Can she sue Sonia for theft by deception?
It would
Sonia didn't
depend
steal
on.
anything from her.
Well, it depends on the. Sonya didn't directly contact her or deceive her. She just was a part. So I would say no, but it would be good to look at the statute in Georgia. I would think maybe some kind of conspiracy potentially, but as far as the criminal aspect of it goes, but civilly probably not Sonya. And I don't even know if she would have necessarily
But
a
what's
good
the
case.
theft by deception though? It did pay. Shirley was paying her husband's legal fees. If they had criminal intentions with the money, had Nesto gotten out and taken the refund or taken the residual funds and went and ran off to Mexico, or they're going to go to Dubai or go to the RV park or whatever. Um, but I don't know that there was a crime because she paid for legal fees, and legal fees is what he wasted. He wasted the legal fees. That's what she paid for. Why would there even be a theft by deception? What was the deception?
Well, we would need to know if it's something else that happened, but based off just the legal fees alone, then I don't think that there's enough to prove, theft by deception. You
Yeah,
have to
there's no
look at the.
crime.
No, not
She
it's just unfortunate that it happened to Shirley, but I
yeah.
don't think she would even have a theft by deception case against Nesto.
I don't think
So
she even
definitely
has a
not.
lawsuit. I don't think she got a criminal case or and also I just don't see Shirley doing it because I think she'd just charge it to the game at this point because it would be too embarrassing. Shirley's not going to go sit and go to trial for that.
Yeah, I just kind of think these two and and some of these other people were up to more, and it's just so much that we don't know yet. But I think Sonya might kind of be, in the clear on some things, except the potential tampering charge. But as far as theft by deception, if it was a case where they, like you said, they were defrauding her out of money, they lied to her, things like that, they could be charged with criminally and they could be sued. So it's a lot of people who Nesto did defraud, like the real estate agent. They could sue. And then he's also facing jail time for it. Now what they would get it. He looks like he's pretty judgment proof to me. So I don't think it would even be worth it for them to sue. I think they're gonna receive their money from restitution. That's why Shirley's car was seized, because that
Mm-hmm.
car is gonna be used for restitution for the victims.
Okay. What about do you think Nesto would accept a plea?
That's a tough one. If he was smart, he would. I would think it's possible he's gonna take a plea on something, maybe the smaller things, and maybe he wants to take the because he was so adamant that the CP that wasn't his character and all that stuff. So he was, but he's a big talker, so it's kind of hard to say. And when the CP charges were initially dropped, I admit I was concerned, but I kind of felt like they were coming back. I thought they were coming back. I felt like he could get off on a technicality on that if they didn't get a warrant. But we learned from the preliminary hearing that they got a warrant before they even went in that computer. So I don't see him getting out on a technicality. A lot of times when you take you know cases to trial, you're going to get a harsher sentence. The ADA would be willing to work with you a little bit more and give you knock a little bit off if you go ahead and just take a plea, and you may catch a bigger break. But if they're to go through the trouble, they're going to ask for the match. So it's kind of hard to tell with him. I don't know. He's not the brightest guy. He doesn't really listen to legal counsel. He doesn't listen to anything outside of what he's in fantasy land, and he wants to stay that way. So with based off the calls and how he doesn't want to hear any bad news, everything's gonna work out. He may feel if he go to trial that he could beat it. So anything's possible with him.
Okay, so someone asked, was Sonia charged? No. Somebody asked, could Sonia be sued by Shirley for theft by deception? There was no theft by deception yet, or theft by deception at all. So I don't know that she could be sued for a crime that didn't happen. Shirley started paying legal fees before Sonia even came on the scene for Nesto once he was incarcerated. By the time we got in on calls, Bimal Chopra had already been paid a significant amount of money, and Sonia was 5 weeks looking for Nesto. You know what I'm saying? So Sonia spent 5 weeks looking for Nesto. Bimal Chopra was contacted and started to get paid. So there's no real theft by deception for his legal fees at that point. Regarding Crail Lewis, I don't know enough about the Crail Lewis situation to be able to, you know what I mean? I just don't see Shirley running after a lawsuit from her bummish husband, who she knows has nothing, and his bummish girlfriend who's on Social Security. You know what I mean? Like that's not a good look for the co-host of the Steve Harvey show. I think she's just paying them dust. I think she is asking because they were scheming behind her back. I don't think it's a crime to scheme. It's I just don't think that there was a crime yet. You know what I mean? Nothing happened. I think they could have been scheming, but they did not act on anything yet. And we don't know of anything that happened. So there's no theft. There's no theft by deception. There's no crime. You can't convict someone for, I guess to Janetta's point, she said conspiracy, but we can't really prove that there was a conspiracy. Like this would all be incumbent on Shirley. And I don't know if Shirley's in the bushes listening right now. To want, and I don't think she's going to sue Nesto for what? You know what I mean? Um, she could sue him for um all of, for him being a fraud, and her thinking she's married and she's not. But again, for what? There's no money to be had. He's broke. You know what I mean? So we got to think about it. Someone dropped a if Sonia called Shirley pretending to work for Crail and asked for money during the call, I think it was theft by deception, but the money would have to be coming to her. If she said, "Hi Crail, this is Gina from Crail's office. We are waiting for you to send another $5,000," and the money went into Crail's, Janetta, correct me, the operating account or the client holding account, and the money's accounted for. Is that theft by deception?
Well, if she called pretending to be Crail's assistant, and it wouldn't necessarily have to be where the money would have to go to her. Fraud is fraud, but it's just going to be based off the statute, and it's certain elements of a statute. And I don't, just based off the top of my head, I don't think that it would meet the components of a theft by
Yeah, because
deception.
where's the crime? I mean, she called to pretend to be, so maybe identity
I don't
theft. She
Yeah,
misrepresented herself as a employee for Crail Lewis, but that would be a crime against Crail,
are we
and
saying
that would
if or we're
be
saying that happened? Because I don't think that. I mean,
we don't
somebody,
know what happened.
the other blogger had said but it didn't sound like science to me. I'm gonna be honest, so I really don't think that happened. But if that did happen, that would be fraud. You can't go around inducing people to send money based
Right.
off you're pretending to be something you're not. So that would
Because
be
you're trying to
fraud.
expedite payment. But
Yeah.
what was so she could be called out for a fraud, not theft by deception, because if she were stealing the money would be coming to her, or there would be some sort of theft reported. So she called Shirley, got the money sent to her Cash App, and in theory frauded Shirley and stole from Crail, or both. That would be something, but that's not what happened. So I don't want to muddy the waters with speculation too much, you know what I mean? Because so many things could happen. We know, like, one thing that at least I know, and you guys tell me if you know down in the comments, is Sonya can't be trusted. Like, we know this, right? Like, you don't have to agree with me if you don't agree. I'm just saying Sonya is someone that you have to keep an eye on, and you can only believe maybe 50% of what she's saying. And even the 50% that seems plausible, you still got to look at it with a crooked eye. You know what I'm saying? She's just not to be trusted. So um, I don't think she stole anything from Shirley. I'm just going to be honest. If she called to expedite payment, she knows she's wrong for doing that, but that's what thirsty people do. Like, thirsty people do that. Doesn't make it right, but I don't see where anyone is going to be running after Sonya for that type of a crime, especially with everything that's happening in Atlanta. Thank you, Shauna Boyd. And thank you, Trusting My Destiny, for those questions and the sticker. I appreciate that so much. You're so sweet. And thank you for supporting. What do you think about that, Janetta? If Sonia called Shirley pretending to work for Crail and asking for money during that call, I'd think it was theft by deception. I heard your answer, but just give it to me one more time.
I'm not sure if it'd be by deception because I don't know what the elements to meet that crime would be in Georgia, but I would think it would be some type of fraud, and death by deception is a type of fraud. So that would be fraud, pretending that you work for the lawyers who get
Mm-hmm.
someone to send money, even if it is to send it to the lawyer. If
Fraud,
the lawyer
identity
wants,
theft.
and I don't know about necessarily identity theft. I think what Erica did, pretending to be that lawyer, 'cause that was a real lawyer in Barnard that she stole. But I think, just pretending like, oh, I'm just making up a random name or someone you don't even know his staff, Krill
Okay,
staff.
so random name. It doesn't necessarily have to be someone, but that you are representing yourself as an employee of Crail Lewis, calling on his behalf to get payment. Um, even if the payment is due, you're not the person whose job it is to give the gentle nudges for collection calls, but you're calling to expedite because you're trying to get extra money over to the lawyer for whatever reason we don't know.
That's the lawyer, because the thing is the lawyer could be held liable for the things that his staff does, and if the staff, so he would definitely he would have an interest in prosecuting. At that point, you're pretending to be my staff and you're
Right.
calling people on my behalf, so it would be fraud against him, and fraud that was committed against Shirley if that did happen, which I don't think it did, but it would, both of them, it would be fraud against both.
Okay. I think we asked this question. Do you think Nesto would take a plea? I think you gave an answer for that. What I think is, I'm gonna be honest. So the charges that he has the CP charges, he has child pornography times 4. He's got sexual assault charges, I think times 5. He has conspiracy charges with Erica King. And then he's got the theft by deceptions with the real estate person and the teacher. Okay. So let's just say he's got 5 different types of cases right now, or 5. He has 3 financial cases, 1 sexual assault, 1 child pornography. I just don't see what kind of pleas he's getting. And if he's getting pleas and they're not set to run, and they're set to run like, what is it, concurrent rather than consecutive. Um, he's facing some time. I don't see what kind of deals they're giving him. If he were going to take a big package deal or something, we'll give you everything. I still if they have a lot of compelling evidence, I mean, he's probably not going to get out of jail, or it's going to be at least 10, 15 years at the minimum, and a sex offender registry and all kinds of stuff. It's not looking good for him. I don't know what he's going to get, if he's going to get a plea or not. But if he were to get a plea deal, it's still going to be some time. 2 years is not enough with all of what he got going on. That's a lot of time.
Well, you got to look at the sentences are, based off of guidelines too. So if you have a first time offender,
Which
they're
he's
gonna,
not. He's a
oh, definitely,
habitual.
exactly. They're gonna look
Yeah.
at, okay, he has other convictions, and so they're gonna sentence based off of that. So a lot of times they get sick of looking at you. So you're gonna get, if you have a pass like that, they're gonna give you a harsher sentence. So it'll definitely be more than 2 years.
Well, I'm saying he's spent two. He's going to have considerable. I just don't see them giving him a plea for what? I mean, when they have an ironclad case, I just don't know. I don't know about plea deals. Like, I don't everyone doesn't get a plea deal. You know what I'm saying? I know when we watch TV, people get pleas all the time. Um, but I don't know that they give out plea deals like that. How do you do criminal, Janetta?
I mostly do bankruptcy. I do some criminal, but it just depends as far as the pleas go. They do pleas for different reasons
Do you
because
see them giving out pleas like candy, or are pleas the exception or the norm?
I would say that they are the norm because you don't want the court systems would get bogged down with trials and nothing would get done if every case went to trial. So they will plead a case, but it's, plea deal doesn't mean that you're getting a sweet deal. A plea deal means you go ahead and plead guilty and you get sentenced to 20 or 30 years. You know,
Okay.
so
Okay.
it doesn't
Yeah,
mean that,
it
oh,
could
you're
be
getting
rough.
less time.
Yeah, it could still be considerable amount of time. And then some people want to try their luck, right? So interesting. I don't know, hun. I don't know if he's going to accept a plea deal, because I think also a plea deal would mean that he is going to see something that he thinks is worth taking. I think Nesto's ego, I don't know. I'm going to be honest. I don't know if he's going to accept a plea. I think it would just depend on what the deal is. Let's take a few more. Do you think Shirley would be subpoenaed? I think we talked about that in an earlier question, when we talked about spousal privilege. Um, so we have to defer back to that question. Does Nesto's case have to be settled, i.e., tried and convicted in Fulton? Uh, Before, we're not going to count Cobb because he's only there in Cobb for housing, but I get what you're saying. In Fulton, before he can go to court in Henry, or can he theoretically go to Henry County, then back to Fulton? What do you say about having multiple cases in multiple jurisdictions, Janetta?
Since he's already sitting in Fulton, they would have the first crack at it. Fulton can go ahead, once that case is resolved, they could go ahead and transfer him over to Henry. Or Henry County could say, well, he's got 30 years or 40 years, he's never getting out. So we could save our resources, because they did that in the R. Kelly case. He was facing like trial in 4 jurisdictions. And so the 2 states jurisdictions, they were like, well, the feds got him, he got 30 years, and they went ahead and dismissed their cases. So I think with all the stuff that he's tied up in, I think it's possible that Henry County could just say, well, we're going to dismiss ours, and just, we're satisfied with they did over in Fulton County.
Mm. What about this? If Nesto takes a plea, will we ever hear any details? I think it just, keep in mind, like I just mentioned, he has multiple cases and different complexities. We don't know which cases he could get a plea deal on, if any at all. So it just depends. If he takes a guilty, I'm not sure what the procedure is in Georgia, if they still go through some of the facts of the case or not. Do you know, Janetta?
We won't get all the ins and outs of the details if it doesn't go to trials, unfortunately. I think he could plea on some things, but I was listening to what Dennis said the other day. He made a good point, especially about the CP. I don't really want to know the details of that now. As far as the other things, the theft by deception, fraud, I would like to hear from those witnesses, and I would like for the SA victim to have for her to have her day in court. So, but the thing is, these victims are traumatized, so it may just be easier for them and they'll have more peace if he just go ahead and plead guilty. They don't have to testify because that could be very traumatic. And I'm not sure if you follow the R. Kelly's trial when Bonjean tried the case, but it was awful the way she went after victims and they were crying. And that's one of the first things we learn in trial advocacy in law school is you do not attack victims. And so apparently she missed that note. And so, victims could be subjected to just harsh questioning. So, it may just be easier for them. As far as us, we won't get the details that we want, unfortunately. Unless somebody writes a book.
Well, yeah. What about, okay, will all the cases, i.e., fraud, financial, CP, grape, be on one trial? No, they're different cases. You see, there's different district attorneys. There's DDA Winfrey for the sex crimes unit. There was Will Wooten, John Salmon, Majeski. All of them are on the financials crime side. So these are all different cases, different, some even different judges. Just a second, guys. Hello? Okay, sorry guys. Um, will all the cases be on one trial? I mean, the rape case won't be in the same cases like Erica King conspiracy and there might be some bleed over for some other things, but these are all separate cases. It's possible that maybe like, I don't know, what do you think? The sexual assaults and the CP, but I'm not really sure. It just depends on how they group them up. What do you think, Janetta?
Well, that's a strategic move that the DA would make. They could, but they were talking about the doing a RICO, and I think that would be they're already having a hard time with the current RICO case they have with Young Thug, and it's just a massive case, and it's just hard to manage. You have like four different attorneys objecting at the same time. It could be it's challenging.
It's too
So
much.
it's too much. So I think if they're I think
Like
Erica.
when they did the Murdoch case, they did the murders separate and the financial which was going to get him 100 years anyway. He could actually end up with like he had so much time mounting against him on the financial crimes on top of the murders. They have them separate. So I don't know. I think it's probably I think it's more costly obviously to the state, but at the end of the day, having a big huge case like that for what? Like I think it's mhm.
I think Erica, because her lawyer mentions a proffer. She's
Mhm.
definitely she's singing like a bird. So Erica is going to talk as far as that goes. But I think keeping the financial crimes separate from the those other crimes.
Mhm.
That's the
Mhm.
best way to do it. You don't want the jury to get bogged down, confused because it's a lot. It's
It's
confusing.
going to skew the jury.
Yeah,
I
I
think it's too much.
Yeah, you want to break, because you don't want jurors to, the jurors to lose interest, and you want to have it to where. And then I think it will probably be more challenging to pick a jury too, because there's so many different issues involved. Because you may have a person on a jury that you may not want them on there for maybe they were a victim of one of those violent crimes like the SA crime. And you don't want them on the jury for that reason, but they may be a good candidate to sit on a jury for a financial crimes case. So I just think it'll be too challenging. I believe they will separate it. I mean, they don't have to, but I think it's likely they will.
Okay, this what will be the next court case? What will the next court case be? Grand jury. So grand juries won't be televised. Grand juries are private. They're secret. Even they usually use that word secret. That's when we'll find out about the indictment. If the indictment goes forward, then we start having we start scheduling trial, right?
Well, there'll be a pre-trial, pre-trial hearings, most likely
But we're moving
motions
to
will be
trial,
filed.
right? At that point with
Oh,
an
they
indictment.
Yeah, after the indictment comes, at that point, they'll have to turn over discovery. So they'll have what's called a scheduling order for how the trial is going to unfold. So that they'll have a hearing to decide, how the trial will progress, set a trial date, things like that. And from my understanding in Georgia, that they don't have to give the discovery. They can wait up to 10 days before the trial to turn over the discovery. So uh Nesto still may not know what he's facing until like right up into the trial, what evidence they have against him.
Someone says, in my opinion, I believe three paid lawyers, Sonia, Dion and Ernesto have all scammed Shirley out of money. Dion is for his daddy before he is for Shirley. Also, my opinion. w- Also, in my opinion, what are your thoughts? So, three paid lawyers. What three paid lawyers? Oh, so you're talking about Jackie Patterson, Bamal Chopra, and Crail, Sonia Dion, and Ernesto have all scammed Shirley out of money. I don't know. Dion, I don't know. I hadn't really given it that much thought. We know Nesto has scammed his wife out of plenty of money. I don't know what Shirley's responsibility is and all that. If she turned up, what culpability when you're packing your stuff up and you're being evicted all the time in your 60s, it's ridiculous. Um, I don't know that these lawyers scam Shirley. I think Nesto is a horrible communicator. He is just above illiterate, and I don't know that he's able to express himself well. And he's also, he also potentially is guilty of crimes, and he is a desperate felon. We don't know. Like Shirley agreed to pay for lawyers, and Shirley also has taken a back seat to the communication between the lawyers and her husband. That's her problem. Like, if I was paying for a lawyer, I'm going to want to know what's going on. I'm not Shirley. You know what I'm saying? So if Shirley accepts Nesto telling her to butt out of it and my girlfriend's calling, I don't know that that's somebody's fault that they need to give you your money back because now you feel like you got cheated out of some money. You know what I'm saying? Um, I know it's not the right thing, but um, I don't know. What do you think, Janetta?
I don't think the lawyers scammed her. Just like what you said, that I don't even think Craig may have he started getting a suspicion that it was something going on, and that was his girlfriend. Sonya was his girlfriend, and so then he questioned it. But that's not really his duty to know that necessarily. You have people. His duty is to work for his client and to protect that attorney-client privilege. So he doesn't owe a duty to Shirley at all, even though she was paying the money. Because I've actually had to tell clients' parents that the mother. And then I told my client, you tell your mother that I'm the lawyer, and and I made it clear who the client was, and yeah, you paid the money, I appreciate it, but I'm not your lawyer. So, that line I'm pretty sure was drawn, even if he was communicating with Shirley, which, that's no problem, but he just can't disclose his strategy and, things like that would be privileged because he can only talk to his client about it. So that would be breaking privilege for him to communicate with others. And I don't think that he doesn't owe Shirley a duty. That was on Shirley. He doesn't owe her that.
This one's going to be a quick one, real quick. Will Shirley let Nesto back in her life? Janetta, what do you say? I say no.
That's
What's
I
your
would
gut?
say if
What's
she
your
had
gut
sense, I
say?
would no.
Yeah, that's
But
what.
she seemed to be quite smitten with this guy. She calls him a Southern gentleman. So she had to been
But
blinded by love. Because like,
come
what
on,
might as well call him
though.
Bush now?
Now, though, really, you think that she's going to? I mean, come on. He's been some of this stuff that he's been talking on the phone and calling her daughter like 25 bitches. Like, come on.
I don't. I would hope, but you know what? She seems like she wants. I'm not even sure she's listening to all of this because
No.
she doesn't. She's kind of like Kim. You want to stay in delusion and la la land. So if it's something that she doesn't want to hear, I think she'll go out of her way to avoid hearing things she doesn't want
Yeah.
to hear.
I think she's
If she's not
done.
listening,
I think if Debbie actually moved to Dallas, that's probably some of her best medicine. They're done. Like he called her daughter bitch one too many times. I'm sorry. He called Debbie bitches. He called Sheridan bitches. He has talked down on Shirley. He's making plans with damn ponytail. We're done, dude. Like we are done. She cannot. Also, just the ramifications of going back to her job. This guy has child pornography, rape, sexual assault, trafficking. Oh, and next, Shirley will be back with the strawberry letter. And guess what? Her and Nesto have reconciled. That ain't happening. Do you know how many people will be live for like girl live all over the social media, internet, everything? Shirley's back with her husband. Are you kidding me?
I
What do you think,
I
Janetta?
no. I don't know. It's I still think she it's possible. Either way, I know if she had some sense, she would be done. But she seems a little kind of like a beanbag, a little bit in a way.
Stop
She's
it, Janetta.
she because even Steve when they're doing it, he was like Shirley. If we read the same letter and the way he was kind of talk like she's not like street savvy, that's how he talk. I don't think
Shirley
she's
needs to stop. Shirley's out here pretending. She found Nesto some kind of way. That's her.
well.
She got a whole triple OG for her husband.
They said that was through the beauty salon. He was dating Ebony still,
Okay,
which
but she was street enough to go ahead and be gangster to go ahead and date right up under one of her colleagues. She knew that was Ebony Steele's man.
yeah, and
Shirley's
you know what?
not. Go ahead.
Oh, what I was gonna say is, I had said this months ago. Actually, Ebony is from my city. So she's actually, I'm 42, but when I was in high school, she was on a local radio here. She's somebody that had a business that was advertised on the radio, and that business is still open to this day. That's over 20 something years ago. And she still has a successful business that's operating. So to me, Nesto thought he was leveling up, but when he went to jail, all his businesses closed. I think if he had been with somebody like Ebony that had some business sense, that's operated a business almost 30 years and is still open, she could have helped him. I mean, Shirley brought the connections to Steve and, a bigger celebrity, but I don't think he thought that all the way through. I think he probably would, because to me, Ebony was similar to what he had with Carol Lamar, like the business savvy. Shirley, that's not who she is, because Shirley could be farther along and have a bigger career if she really knew the business side of things and really promote herself up. She could have started her own podcast or anything. So she's not business savvy. I think long term, somebody like Ebony would have been better for him. So I think that's interesting that he thought he was leveling up with Shirley, because that's just not the case. Hello? I think you're on mute.
My bad. Sorry, guys. How much we've talked about this before, but can you give a quick, because we still have like maybe 7 more questions if we get through all of them. How much can you eat through a retainer with excessive calls, like Sonia calling Crail and talking all evening? I'm putting 20 on 10. How much can you eat at how much can one eat at their retainer because of excessive contact, like Sonia was doing with Crail?
I think you can eat pretty fast. It depends on his rate, because the rate here is $500 an hour, and Atlanta tends to have higher rates. We're like 2.5 hours from Atlanta, and so things are a little bit more expensive in Atlanta. It may be $750 or $1,000 an hour. So if his rate is $1,000 an hour, he took maybe 20 or 30,000. I mean, that's 30 hours. you can burn through 30 hours quickly over a year. You know, she's calling a few times a week and she's keeping him on the phone. I mean, he may just, put it on speakerphone, let her yap, and then he could bill for that hour, or who knows. So
Right, right.
so I think he could burn, depending on his rate. If his hourly rate is 1,000, he could burn through it pretty quickly.
Okay. So yeah, absolutely. So it's possible. I don't know that that they've eaten through everything, but God only knows. They're ridiculous. Quick question. What about Lamont? Can he be charged with calling the victim pretending to be an attorney? Absolutely. But you know what? Like I said, they don't always do the full. I mean, Janetta, you could speak to this better than I can, obviously, but they don't always go do the full roundup on everybody. Um, Lamont might just be someone that they bring in at a certain point or bring him in later. I mean, I don't know, but they documented it on the narrative, so that is enough for Lamont to know that he's in some trouble around this Erica King stuff and Nesto. What do you think about that? What about Lamont? Can he be he absolutely can be charged. It could have been trying to coerce a witness. I mean, they could have it on many different things. He said he was an attorney so they could get him on the conspiracy thing like they did Erica King. I mean, she didn't go to court and represented herself, but she called someone. Excuse me, he called someone. They recorded the phone number. They traced it back to Lamont. It wasn't even just word of mouth. They took the phone number, they traced it back, all of those things. It's a problem. What do you think, Janetta?
Well, that's definitely some form of fraud pretending to be a lawyer in the attorney's office. So that was mentioned in the narrative for a reason. He could be charged with that conspiracy. He could be brought into the RICO as a member because you need at least two people to establish a RICO. You need more than one person. So he could be that third person that they need or second person. I know because you got Eric and Nesto, then he was the a lawyer Jones and Jones. So yeah, he's definitely he should be concerned that his name was brought up in that police report for sure.
I know I would be. Okay, the next one, please or not long as he's gone for a long time. Please or not as he's gone for a long time. If he ever gets out, he'll just do the same thing to get money. He doesn't have a 401k like most retired folks. So I guess that's not a question. I'm sorry, I didn't read that one first. Why do you think he is still allowed to have that iPad? Thank you, dear. I appreciate it. Why do you think he's still allowed to have his iPad, Janetta?
Oh, you talking about I'm pretty sure it's restricted. The one he's using in jail is restricted, so he's not gonna have access to. It's probably just like a intranet type of situation where he's only allowed access to the jail services. So it sounds like they're pretty set, automated system over there with at Cobb County. So the way their system is set up, the inmates are probably just required to use them to have everything. And with COVID, changed a lot of things, and so that's a system they put in place. So it's kind of hard. Like Fulton is borrowing space from them, so it's kind of hard for them to go tell them what to do. Because they're kind of doing you a favor. You're paying them something to house your inmates, but you just can't tell them what to do. So I'm pretty sure they looked to see whether or not this tablet was connected to, what it was connected to. And it was an intranet type of situation where there's certain apps, and I'm pretty sure he's restricted access to everything else. So that's why he could use it.
So Willie J, you asked are all of his bonds, are all his bonds that he has to put down 10%? They asked for good bonds or surety bonds. And if he goes to a bondsman, it depends on what the bondsman's fees are. It sounds like in Atlanta, generally it's 10%. I don't have that figure for sure. He could go to the bondsman that's 12%. That may not need 10 cosigners or may want 5 cosigners, may want 100 cosigners, may just, you know what I mean? So there might be stipulations. He might qualify for one bail bondsman and not the other. So I don't think it's just a uniform rate. I think the bondsmans set their rates and prices, but I think they're pretty competitive. What do you say about that, Janetta?
Well, I think you pretty much answered the question about the bonds. Was it, will he have to pay 10%? I mean, it just depends. Some on the bail bonds requirement, like you said, they all have different requirements. And the payment plan, which I didn't even know they did that. That was interesting. But the payment plan seems like it's more requirements than if they have the 10%. So I think if they can't pay the 10%, if the 10% is too much, okay, we'll take a payment plan, but that's more stringent than the 10%. So whether or not he has somebody that will pay the 10% is the question. I don't think he does.
I wouldn't want to be on a payment plan because if someone misses the payment, you're going back to jail. Your bond's going to be revoked.
Yeah, on the payment plan, yeah, that's correct. But if they just had the 10% to pay up front, it was just guaranteeing that he would show up for court. Now, if he don't show up for court, then they yeah, they lose their well, that's if they pay the bond with the court or whatever. But if they use a bail bondsman, they won't get that 10% back. That's their fee for doing the work. So, but that bail bondsman is basically guaranteeing that they will come to court. So the bond is making sure the person comes to court anyway. And I don't know. I think Nesto will probably run off.
That's funny. El Cid, we already answered this question. Will these be jury trials? Will they be tried separately for the financial crimes? Yeah, we talked about that versus the sex crimes, the CP crimes, the financial crimes. We kind of went into that. Will they be jury trials? I guess we're gonna have to wait for the indictments to come. We have to wait because we don't really know if depending I mean I guess there could be different reasons why maybe you would have a judge versus a jury decide, but I don't know if he even qualifies for those type of trials or not. I would imagine it would be a jury trial. Um, what do you think, Janetta? Is there any I mean, aren't
Oh,
most
it's his a jury trial is right. If he's smart, he would choose a jury trial because all you need is one holdout. You have 12 people. He can elect to have a bench trial. Some people do that, but it's rare. Usually, you want the 12 to sit, and then if you just can convince one of them, then you have a mistrial. So I don't see why he would elect to have a judge be the trier of fact and decide that. I don't think he would do that. But he could. It's
uh,
his right. It's his right. It's the right of the defendant to choose.
yeah, the financial crimes, I think they're not going to lump financial crimes and sex crimes together. It's I mean, that's speculation, but at the end of the day, we don't know. Let's just wait till the indictments come and we're going to be finding out sooner than later. Am I the only one here who would be here for a Shirley snake in my bed documentary? Wow. Okay, you guys. Wait.
I think you're on mute.
Just one second, guys. Farrah, in the kitchen, babe. Sorry, guys. Mama. Okay, sorry, guys. How would you handle? Okay, so does Janetta believe slash or advise Shirley to get her own lawyer? She probably already has one, I would think. What do you think, Janetta?
I think she should definitely get her own lawyer. I don't think she's going to be implicated in any crimes or whatever, but I think the police may want to talk to her. So I wouldn't advise anyone going to talk to the police without a lawyer.
But we're
Yeah.
assuming that she hasn't already. I mean, I would think. I'm sorry. As much as her name has been mentioned, I would be very surprised if she has not had someone contact someone to just get some high level what's going on with my name and tell me exactly what's going on with her husband. You know what I mean? Like by now, not asking any questions, I would find odd. Um, this is your husband got a lot of shit going on. Whether you're speaking to him or not, I would be finding out. I would have a lawyer go find out. She's not poor. She makes money. I would be surprised that she hasn't had someone go and check officially and ask what's going on here and ask some questions. I would think. What do you
I
think,
would
Janetta?
think she would have a lawyer too, but and it's kind of hard to say because in the initial phone call, she was avoiding it at all costs, and
Yeah, but
that's not
it's
the
a
case
year and a
right
half
now.
later now. Like it's a lot of work. That's been a lot of time. And now he's got child pornography, sex. He's got rape. He's got this woman who's doing interviews on the internet. There's a lot going on here.
Yeah, I think it's possible that she did, but I think it would be a good idea if she hasn't already. She definitely would need someone, to advise her and just kind of find out um what's going on. But I'm pretty sure if she's taught, she has a lawyer, she would know that okay, I'm not being charged with anything, or
Yeah,
she would
no, I
know if
don't
they
I don't think they were
witness or
inferring that she needs to get a lawyer, as in lawyer up. You're getting ready to be charged with something. My first thought was I didn't even think of that. I don't think that Shirley is a criminal. Like she's part of the enterprise. I was thinking, does Jeanette believe or advise Shirley? I think anyone who has a close family member, your husband, in as much trouble as he has right now, I think it would be smart to have somebody who is available to take phone calls.
and she
I
would
just
want to be advised by a lawyer as far as like the spousal privilege goes as well. So she would need to consult a lawyer, and so that her lawyer may be the one that made the argument on her behalf, that she has a spousal privilege, or his lawyer would make it. Maybe that's something that they will both argue, but she would definitely want to be advised of whether or not she would have to testify. I don't think that she's a target, but she would still want, even just going in to talk to the police, because you could slip up and say the wrong thing and they say, aha, you were involved. So it's a bad idea to go to talk to them, even though the detective field seemed pretty nice and whatever. She said you can get a lawyer and come talk to us. A lot of times when they intend to just really just set you up, they don't want you to really know about your right to a lawyer anyway. And they get, because I've showed up unexpectedly to an interrogation and they were not happy to see me at all.
mm.
So they don't really want the lawyers there normally, but I feel as though they wanted to just talk to her, tell her what's going on, and if she needed some extra protection, oh, you bring a lawyer, you can talk to us, it's fine. So I think that's what Detective Fields intended to do, but she would definitely want to bring a lawyer.
Yeah, I'm just thinking she should just have one in general with this whole situation going on right now. She may not even talk to them. Pasta Rossi, look at your avatar. That is hilarious. Okay. I'm gonna put up a poll real quick. I just have to switch screens. I don't want to lose these questions. Uh First of all, Janetta, we only have a few more questions, like 2, 3 more. You have been amazing. Bougie Gang, stand up. Let's thank Janetta. Janetta, is this you in the chat? She's dancing
Uh
on her mattress eating shrimp. That's not
no.
you. Okay, it's a different Janetta. Okay. Janetta has been amazing. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm not letting you go yet. I just want to make sure to say thank you, and everyone who's here to thank you properly. We appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to come answer to the chat coming up and talking to us every blue moon, because we've had Joey plenty times. Shouts out to Joey if you're out there. We've had a few of y'all come up for an extended period of time. If you ever want to come up, stand up, show up, just let me know. But I actually invited Janetta on this occasion. I appreciate her so much for answering some questions with us. You're so fun to talk to. I appreciate you doing this. Janetta, here's a question that's interesting. How would you handle Sonia as an attorney? If Sonia came to your office, like if this was you and you were, say you're Crail Lewis, not with all the drama, but just this is their question. How would you handle Sonia as an attorney? They didn't give
If
me
I
any stipulations. So
Oh,
go.
okay. Well, just her talking to me crazy, like she's been talking to them. How I've handled that in the past, I've had clients talk to me crazy, or, I would just tell them, watch your tone of voice. Don't talk to me crazy. I would respect you and you're going to respect me. So I would have to take a firm stance. She would not talk to me crazy. Um, but since she's not really a family member, or I just wouldn't talk to her. I just tell her not to call me anymore. Really, that's the easiest way. I see no reason to talk to her whatsoever.
Well,
So
Hannah told her not to call anymore. Hannah said, "Don't call."
yeah, see, Hannah, that's a kind of I've seen those type of situations before. I would say because Hannah's a new lawyer. I worked for a nonprofit years ago, and it was they outsourced our cases, and they outsourced it to a firm, and they had their new associates, like fairly new attorneys, handling the cases. And we had a client that talked to those young ladies like dirt. I mean, dogged them out. So it was so bad that the firm ended up dropping the case, and so it came back to our organization, and they were like, well, we'll just Janetta can handle it. She won't talk to her any kind of way. And I'm just like, oh my God, I don't want to handle it. And so we did have to have that conversation. Do not talk to me like that. You're going to be respectful of me. And the thing is, I was very accommodating. I was in the car, I had the phone on my Bluetooth, and I'm in the car by myself. So I answered the phone for clients. They may need my help, dealing with the police or something like that. I made myself available, but it's a question I couldn't answer because I'm driving. I don't have your file in front of me. So they tried to talk to me crazy. So I don't allow people to disrespect me at all. And this lady, that Sonya, she's not anybody. Who is she? Now, if it was the wife that's paying, that's a different story, which even then, I would have to have a talk with the wife, watch your tone of voices, be respectful to one another. But I mean, $40,000 is a lot of money. And to me, it was weird that Shirley paid all that money, which is sweet as pie, to this attorney. But this lady who paid nothing had the attitudes. I mean, there's just no way I would tell her not to.
She's
I
a
don't know.
mess.
I want to. We
Have a
want to
seat.
deal. We want to deal with each other for. It want to last to past a day. She went too far with Hannah, and I think it's because she's new.
What do you think about Lamont? After Lamont sent the pornography cartoon, this person just sent this comment. So I'm prefacing it with when Lamont sent the pornography cartoon to Sonia. What do you think? It says, I believe stupid Lamont is the one that sent the CP pics. Okay, I guess it's a statement. There's really nothing to answer with that. Okay, I concur.
Well,
It's possible. I don't know for sure, but clearly they like pornography. They engage in pornography trade. So I don't know. I
I
don't.
think that it was on Nesto's. I mean, if anything, they could get both of them. So if he sent the CP, they could be able to trace it from where it was sent. And so the thing is, that wouldn't let Nesto off the hook because you downloaded and you stored it on your computer. So even
Yeah,
if it
no, that
was,
doesn't let him. He's in possession of it, absolutely. But there, even if it were Lamont, then he's just going to be part of the ring. So if they're going to prove some sort of sex ring, trafficking ring, something like that, and Lamont is part of it, then he just implicated himself further with that digital footprint and just drew Sonya into it. And that's if they even find out about it. But I mean, Lamont could very well be under investigation right now. Maybe that's why Lamont's not calling.
you know what? That's a good point. He said that he was in trouble, and and we thought he was talking about the women or something like that. But
I
maybe
didn't
he's
think that. I thought I just assumed his behind was under investigation.
well, because he was saying, he was talking to Dre, said that these calls got me in trouble, and so Dre was in trouble with the women. So I kind of assumed that Lamont was too, but he doesn't care or respect women anyway. So I think that maybe he heard something about that was said in the calls that can implicate him, and he wanted to make sure that he's not brought up anything else. So I think I didn't think about that until you just said it though. But yeah, that's possible.
Where did this poll come from? One of the subscribers, one of you guys in the chat asked for it. Somebody, this is what they said. They said, "Can we vote? Will he show up to court if he bonds out?" That's where we got the question from. If Lamont, if Nesto doesn't go to court, then someone just lost money and he's going back to jail. So if that's, what I'm saying, like that's just what's gonna happen. We don't know, that's it. That's it and that's all. Will he show up? Did he have some FTAs, they call it, failure to appears? I'm not sure. I mean, he maybe had a few FTAs, but he hadn't had FTAs in a while. I think SS said that to try to take responsibility away from Nasty Nesto. Don't trust anything SS says. SS. Okay. Sorry, I hit enter before I could finish, but yes, that would have been my question. Could they question Lamont after Sonia and Nesto purposefully put it out there that he sent her a picture? Um we don't know that he's not already under investigation. Keep in mind he was in Natalie Field's report about Josh Jones. Don't think Lamont is not being investigated. I'm just going to say it like that. I don't know anything for sure, but he's on an arrest affidavit, and the whole scenario was played out how he pretended to be a lawyer to try to coerce a witness, a victim slash witness. So he's been documented. So don't think that he may not be getting looked at for other reasons. We don't really know. Do you think he will accept? We already answered that question. That's if he gets a plea deal, and if the plea deal is something that he wants to take a chance with. I don't know Nesto. I think Nesto is just above able to sign his own name. Okay. I don't know what he's going to do. Like, that man is very, very giving, special needs. Okay. And he's older, and I think his cognitive abilities are diminishing in that jail. His nutrition is not good. He's not getting probably what he needs as someone his age who's got maybe diabetes and high blood pressure, or may have been borderline. I don't know if he's, you know what I mean? Like, he might just be pretty well screwed by now. You know what I'm saying? Anyone would be a fool to bail Nesto out with all of his legal baggage. Let his behind sit and stew. Maybe he will learn his lesson. I don't know who's getting him out. What? That's why we won't come to visit. Okay, let me get this last question. So, do you think IS did anything? Oh, wait, what does it say? Do you think IS did anything she could be in trouble for? For example, find out information about a victim's whereabouts and send pictures to Sonia, then visit Nesto for prayer. Janetta, you there, babe? Janetta went to go start dinner. Janetta, you there, hun? Okay. Do you think
I'm
IS?
unmuted. Oh, so what was everything?
Do you think infamous Sylvia did anything she could be in trouble for? For example, find out. Oh, the interference is bad. Wait, hold on. Do you think infamous Sylvia did anything she could be in trouble for? Example, find out information about the victim's whereabouts and send it just. Yeah, can you hear me? Janetta, can you hear me?
Hello. I got a phone call and it kind of cut off.
Yeah, why don't you drop down and then come back?
Can you hear me?
Can you click on the link? Yeah, I can hear you, but it's very muffled.
Hello.
Can you come back, Janetta?
You want me to drop down and come back?
Yeah, the ear interference is really bad.
Okay. Yes, I'll do that. Give me just a second.
Okay. All right, bye. Okay, she's gonna come back. It was bad. Do you think IS? For example, find out information about a victim's whereabouts and send a picture to Sonia. Look, I'm going to just say this. People on the internet swap information. Y'all send information all the time. Is it illegal? I don't think so. If they're using it to harass people and they're colluding to harass people and there's a crime, if Sonia is indirectly contacting people for Nesto, that's a problem. I don't know. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really don't know. We don't know what these people are doing behind the scenes. I know one thing, that there are some very shady, underhanded people doing a lot of stuff right now. anybody can get in, quote unquote, in trouble. I guess the people would need to know that their information is being swapped and sold or swapped and told. I don't really know. I'm going to be honest. I don't know what she's done. But if they're doing stuff, giving out people's names and legal names and government names to have people harass them and it can be tracked back, absolutely. But I don't know. We don't know what, you know what I'm saying? Do you think, yeah, do I think infamous Sylvia did anything she could be in trouble for? If you're asking me personally, first answer is I don't care. I don't care what this woman is doing. If she's out, I mean, look, there were some allegations recently, and they arrested her in the damn biggest trial in the city of Atlanta outside of the Trump case. I don't know what this lady's been doing. Okay. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know what this lady's been doing. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know her. I'm not friends with her. I don't know her. I haven't spoken to her in a couple of months. I don't know what she's capable of. But hopefully for her sake, um, I'm gonna just say I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea what that lady does and don't care. Don't do it over here. That's what I'm gonna say. Um, I don't know if Janetta's coming back or not. So you guys asked for a poll real quick. I hope that answers your question. I don't know what that lady's doing and don't rightly care. Okay. Was that snotty enough? Um, Nesto and Sonia are always texting. How are they communicating? I think he still has the pad, but we talked about that too. Procedurally, he may still be able to have the pad with limited access. Okay. I hope you guys enjoyed these Bougie Gang Ask Questions hour. Janetta was amazing, and I appreciate you guys welcoming her and asking tons of questions. Thank you to the new members. We had a friend gift a membership, Jackson Tabasco. Thank you so much for gifting a friend in the chat. You are amazing. Thank you to our beautiful Janetta, not Janetta who was up on the stage with us, but Janetta from the chat, another Janetta, who became a member. Thank you to Miss Kitty, who asked for the poll. Is Nesto going to show up to court? 238 of you guys. We have over 800 here. Go ahead and vote. It's not going to hurt you. Let me get this question down because maybe some people aren't seeing. Guys, I think we got through everyone's question. Is there anyone here that can say that they did not get their question answered? Because I feel like I answered everybody's question. We went through every question. Let me see if I have the link. All right, let me go over to find the link. Just a moment. I wanted to do some addressing the comments. We started answering a few comments, but we got out of it. I'm getting there, guys. Ooh, I just went to the wrong spot. Members. Okay, let me see if I got it. Okay, I just dropped it. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for asking. You guys are so sweet for asking for that information. Anyone who's joining, you're the bomb. I feel that Sonia forged Shirley's signature. She didn't. She didn't. Don't feel that. Why? She did it. It's a legal document. She didn't. She did it. She said she didn't. Nesto said, "I thank you very much for putting that in the document." She said, "I didn't do anything." Shirley is a very literal person, is what we have to see. She's very literal. So Nesto didn't say, "I appreciate you signing or vouching for me in that affidavit." You have to be very specific when you talk to Shirley, because if it's, "I didn't tell you that on Thursday. I told you that on Monday. We were going Monday, and I told you that would be happening then. Babe, sure, such and such. Oh, you went to this. You said you were going. No, I told you we were going on Monday. Today's Thursday. Like, she's just very specific. And I think that when he said, thank you for putting in that document, she didn't put in the document. Crail put in the document. She signed a document that Crail gave her, but she's very, very literal. She's always, if you say Shirley did something, you better say it right. Because if you don't say it right, she's going to correct you. She acts like she's his damn mother. But I don't think that she forged the document. But if you feel she forged the document, that's fine. I don't think she forged it because there's too many people involved. And Crail, what would be the benefit of Crail to jeopardize his income, his business, everything for the shenanigans of two fools? I mean, you don't think Crail, Nesto can barely speak. Nesto probably signs his name with an X. Nesto can barely operate. Is Janetta here? Hold on. All right, let me call her on Instagram, see if she answers. But I'm getting ready to let y'all go, but I wanted her to be able to say goodbye. Nesto is illiterate. You think that a man who has studied and gotten his Juris Doctor and a license in the state of Georgia is going to throw it all away for Sonia and Nesto? I don't think so. I think Shirley signed it. I just think that Nesto doesn't know how to speak, and Shirley is very literal. Let me call our girl and see if she's going to call us back. Oh, she said she didn't see the link. Let me just call her on Instagram. Hi, Janetta.
Yes, I couldn't find a link to come back up.
I'm sorry. I didn't. I thought you already still had it from when I put it into Instagram, but I'm going to go ahead and shut this down. I've got you live. I told everybody I wanted you to be able to say goodbye to everybody. Plus we had so much bad interference, but Janetta, thank you so much. We love you. Thank you for, you took 2 whole hours.
Oh yeah, the time went by fast. I really enjoyed myself, and thank you for inviting me. So Fridays are usually a good day because I don't really, bankruptcy court, we don't really do it on Fridays. So a lot of times I'm just, I'm free in the afternoons on Fridays. So anytime. And just if anyone want to follow my page, I specialize in student loans and bankruptcy. So anyone want to follow my page, Pleasant Legal Solutions. And there's a lot of free information in my group as well. If anybody have any questions about that. But
absolutely. Can you drop the links for us? And I will make sure I will post them on I will post them for you, okay? Or I'll actually put it into the description box. So yeah, maybe just do a comment in the comment section and I'll copy and paste into the description box. And anyone have any questions about bankruptcy. Also, Janetta was so kind to offer up going over the bankruptcy documents that I posted. I did a bankruptcy video on Shirley. And do you have the bankruptcy filing?
I mean, I can get it on Pacer.
Okay, yeah, I already got it and paid for it. I can send it to you without my markings on it. That way you can have a chance to review it. Also, it was dismissed and not discharged. It was dismissed for non-payment. Can you tell people? Well, I guess we can talk about that at a later time, what that actually means, because I don't think she ever got her she never got her bankruptcy. She defaulted on it basically, right?
Yeah, she did a 13. So with a 13, you have to make plan payments to the trustee. And so trustees do not like working for free. They're also lawyers and they have staff they have to pay. So when you don't make your plan payments, they will move to dismiss and the judge will usually grant it. It's not anything that the lawyers could do. They're just going to dismiss it. So she didn't make her plan payments.
Yeah, that's what I saw. Anyway, we'll do that maybe on another Friday. If not next Friday, whenever Janetta has time for us, we will do that if you guys are interested in that. We'll try to.
You mind if it was a question about the IS do something like
yes.
I can answer that really quickly.
Yes, please.
Okay, I think we would probably need a little bit more. I think that the videos with all the victims' information. I think that that's a starting point, and they probably could. I think they'll need a little bit more. But I just still think I have a feeling that more was done that we do not know about yet, because it came up that she went to church with someone that's related to the victim. So she said something in church. Oh, well, your so-and-so needs to, tell the truth, or, she's bothering someone in church. I'm not saying she did that. It would be enough to at least start an investigation, if not bring charges. So that's a problem.
Okay. Let me read this poll to you. So Bougie Gang was asked, and 323 votes later, will Nesto show up to court if he bonds out? 322 Bougie Gang voted, and the final vote is 324 votes. 56% say no. What do you think about that?
I think he's a desperate man, so that's possible. When you think about it, where is he really gonna go?
He doesn't have any money.
They took you into, and then you can, take a Greyhound. You don't need that much money, but I mean, it's possible. But I think he doesn't have that much money. But I think he probably could get to Mexico, but whether or not he would, they would find him in Mexico and drag him across the border. I don't know. I think he's a desperate man, so he probably could try to run, but I don't think he'll get very far on his bank account.
Yeah, he better not use his bank account, because they'll find him right away. Like, let's be real here. A 10-year-old knows how not to be traced these days. Like, they know. So I would hope that they know how not to be traced. But anyway, Janetta, you're awesome. Thank you for joining us for 2 hours. You did awesome, and I appreciate you. Put your information down in the comment section or send it to me on Instagram, and I will share it with everyone.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
You for inviting me, and I'll be glad to come back on a Friday.
Okay, thank you. Take care.
Okay, bye.
All right, bye-bye. Okay, guys, that was our new good friend, Bougie Gang chatter, supporter, and all of the things. Miss Janetta, you guys saw her last week. Anyway, you think interesting results, right, sis? Very interesting. Thank you, you guys. I may not be back tonight, sis Tad. Okay. But if I am, it's going to be on the late night, and it's going to be members only. Okay. And we might just be like gossiping. Okay. We haven't done that in a while. Just some tell me, drop the tea. Okay. That would be fun. Anyway, did someone else just become a member? Okay. Someone gifted a membership. Who gifted? Let's see. JMM55 got gifted. I'm sure it's so far back. Jackson Tabasco. Jackson gifted. Thank you so much. Thank you to everyone from the last live who gifted and super. Oh my God, there's a deer in the front yard. Girl, they walk through like it's like a cat. Like literally right here. Well, you guys don't care. Oh my God, it's a whole family in the yard. It's 4 of them all up in our yard. It's so funny. It's like, okay, it never gets old. Like every time I see them, even though this is like a common occurrence. Did you just see the deer in the front yard? Farrah's probably like, what? I'm playing Roblox. Okay. We used to see a family we have woods right behind us. I love it because it just reminds you like we're not as great as we think we are. Like there are families of wildlife living around us. We're like all doing this damn thing together. I love it because, you know what I mean? I think we kind of forget that the birds and the deer and the everything, they all live out here too, right? I love it. Nesto is in a lot of trouble. I'm just going to be honest, guys. You guys know this. And I say this pretty much every day. I don't think I've said it yet. Nesto is where he is because of how he was living. He is responsible for what he's going through right now. This is the harvest of the seeds that he has planted. He's put this out. It's come back to him. Not my problem. I I don't, you know what I'm saying? I'm not like I'm not a throw him in jail and lock the key. I'm just give him his day in court, let him bring the evidence and all of the things. Girl, bears can stay away. I don't live in bear country, but yeah, if we were out in the girl, I would have to be strapped 24/7 if I lived up in like Boone or something up in the mountains. But yeah, no, I'm good. We hear about coyote and stuff around sometimes, and we definitely get snakes. If you don't cut your grass, you will have some snakes. The real victims need to have their day. I'm definitely, for the victims. I am I'm a mother of a girl, and child pornography, whether it was a boy, I'm an animal advocate. I do not appreciate the type of shit that was in his computer. I think it's absolutely horrible. I don't see anything it's pornography, but it's a crime. It's a crime scene photo to me. A child is innocent and they should not be in sexually provocative poses and doing all kinds of nasty stuff. It's gross and there's no excuse for it. And that's it. I feel like Nesto is a problem, and that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. And they're going to present all the evidence once he gets an indictment and he gets his day in court, and we're going to be able to hear and listen and see what's really happening over there. He thought he was invincible. Yeah, I think he had so many chances and he was used to Bimal Chopra. See, this is the mistake I think Nesto made. Number one, his case got complicated. That was one of the problems. Okay, so that's problem number one. His case got complicated because his standalone cases that he was used to getting, that Bimal Chopra used to beat and get him thrown out all the time. Here comes Sonia. So his case got complicated. He had a lawyer that was used to getting him off every single time. Here enters Sonia, and he goes to Fulton County at a time where Fulton County is not playing with anybody, and he gets caught up for 90 days. And he's getting more and more and more, and he's a deviant, and I think his deviant behavior was starting to be more exposed. So he had like a perfect storm of exposure. He met Sonia talked him into thinking that his lawyer, who has gotten him off a multitude of times, could no longer do the job, and he switches lawyers, and now he's stuck. Bimal clearly had the sauce to get him out. He kind of knew what to do to get him out on those type of charges, and he cut Bimal off. So he fucked up. He should never, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. If Bimal was able to get you out of jail all these times, why in the world would you mess with the sauce? You know what I mean? That was dumb, I think. I would have just stayed with my steady Eddie, who knows how to handle my situation. Um, he can have the whole house, but what are you gonna do? Run up to the attic or try to get out to the car and zoom away? We have coyotes running around harming small dogs in our area of Detroit. We got some of everything. The burbs are pushing the animals out with construction. Yeah, it's sad. That was dumb. He never should have got rid of Bimal Chopra, even though Bimal wasn't giving him what he wanted. He had Sonia in his ear trying, convincing him that what he had wasn't good enough and it needed to be faster because sis was sitting over there horny and wanting her man out. Yeah, so she messed him up. Bimal Chopra was on damn TV with the Donald Trump thing. Like, are you kidding me? He's got influence. He may have been able to, like, hey, can you handle this business for me, please? But no, whatever. So Sonya's a mistake. Damn, firing Bimal Chopra, his steady Eddie. He had Jackie Patterson. He couldn't afford Jackie Patterson. I think that's why he was mad. Jackie Patterson is the Bentley attorney, the black guy with the red hats, and he was not going to be able to afford Jackie Patterson. He was trying to do too much. He was trying to basically pay a lawyer to get his ass up out of jail and hoping that he wouldn't get indicted. And he's been sitting here so long now. He's coming to an indictment. You guys think he's going to go? Yeah, he messed up with Shirley. The first mistake was he got rid of them all. Or the first mistake was picking up the phone and, hi, it's Sonia. Then getting rid of his attorney, then messing up with his wife, and his case got complicated. And here we are. You know what I mean? Sonia has ruined his life. Nesto ruined his life, period. Sonia has helped ruin his life. Shirley went and got her life. She's exited stage left. And he's a mess. He's absolutely a mess. Guys, I'm gonna let y'all go. This was so much fun. You guys did your damn thing. I appreciate you guys hitting the like button. Anyone who has not hit the like button yet, go ahead and do so on your way out. If you are new here, you just subscribed, welcome. And I appreciate you so much for subscribing. I hope you enjoy long lives because I think that's kind of how we do them here a little bit. Even the short ones are an hour. But in any case, welcome, welcome, welcome. And I hope you enjoy. We are in the middle of this series over here. Shirley Strawberry's husband went to jail. And maybe we'll be turning the page to Shirley's husband goes to trial. Okay. We're gonna see how it goes. Anyway, maybe we need to do some hot topics tomorrow, see what else is going on in the world, right? We also need to do some addressing the comments, all of the things. So you guys let me know maybe down in the comments if we're missing anything out in the world other than Nesto and Sonia and Shirley and company. Otherwise, I'm going to let you guys go. I hope that you have a wonderful weekend. You know, you'll see me tomorrow. You might catch me on the late night tonight. But if not, you'll see me in the morning. Okay. You guys take care. I will see you next time. Bye, guys.